Hello, hello! Welcome to another episode of From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. I'm so grateful that you pushed play today. And I know if we're looking a little dim here, I still haven't gotten a new ring light. We'll get there. Remember, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, there's a YouTube version that you can watch so you can see me in my basement with my vision board behind me that I'm working on very slowly. And there's a link for the YouTube version in the show notes should you like to watch. Of course, if you're driving, listen, don't watch, be safe. Today we are talking about something that I feel like has come to me only through my own experience. A lot of the times I hear concepts or I read about concepts and I'm like, oh, how have I seen this in my life? And it kind of marinates for a while. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to talk about this because I understand it. I can see it in my life. I've tried it out. And now I'm ready to talk about it. This one has been marinating in my life, has come to me and been marinating for a while now. And I feel like I'm really excited about it because it feels like, okay, I didn't read this anywhere. I didn't hear it from somebody that I'm aware of. Maybe I did, and it just kind of came in and I don't know, whatever. Maybe I did, but it feels new to me. It feels like I've never heard this anywhere. So maybe you've never heard it anywhere either. And here is the whole premise. Just going to give it to you right up front. Struggle is optional. To be clear, just to clarify here, struggle is not the same as doing hard things. Totally different things. You can do something difficult and struggle, and you can do something difficult and not struggle. Struggle is an energy in which you do something. Philosophy by Megan. Struggle is an energy in which you do something. So this table that my computer is on is a really big table. It was actually assembled in this room. It's a big table. If I were to move this table into another room, by myself, it would be a hard thing for me to do. And I would have to take the top off, and maybe I would have to disassemble some more things. Maybe not. I'd have to measure and see. But I could carefully move this table into another room. Or I could struggle to move this table into another room. Luckily, this table has wheels on it. However, the wheels have locks on them, which is really great. Makes it for a nice, sturdy, stable table. However, struggling would look like me pushing this table out of this room with the locks on. That is struggle. I'm pushing this. I am going to move this table, dang it, and I'm going to do it with the locks on just because I can. But I'm going to struggle every step of the way because it's fighting me because the locks are on. Removing the struggle energy from whatever you're doing is taking the locks off. Just turn the locks off. Doesn't mean it'll be easy. It'll mean you're not struggling. It's an energy. So sometimes we have this struggle energy in certain areas of our lives, in certain situations in our lives, even with certain people in our lives. And it's often a recurring struggle. I always struggle to blank. I struggle with this person. I'm struggling with these types of projects. I struggle with this. I'm struggling, right? That's an energy. You can feel that. You can feel struggle. So the best part is that the struggle is optional. You can remove the struggle. You can take the brakes off the wheels, so to speak. So a few examples from my life. I am not great at picking things up and having things organized all the time. I definitely have a tendency to pile things. I'll make a pile here and a pile there, and sometimes they'll be like things, and sometimes it's just I need to move stuff, so I'm adding this pile to this pile because I need this space. This adds struggle to my life because when I have to move this pile and put it on this pile because I need this space, I'm not making things any easier for myself. Eventually, I'm just going to have to take those two piles of things and move it to another pile because I'm going to need that space. And at some point, I'm just going to have to put my foot down and put everything in their homes because I'm struggling so much to live my life. I have organized and cleared off several small areas of the house, and I have been maintaining them. I've been keeping them that way. Piles are no longer allowed in these spaces anymore. Things are not allowed to pile up in these specific spaces anymore. And that has really removed the struggle from when I am working in those spaces. It has removed that struggle energy. And I'm doing it little bits at a time because I want it to be maintained. I want it to be sustainable. And yes, and going through my entire house all at once feels like a feat that I just don't have time for, even though in the long run, it will actually buy back time for me because I won't be struggling to do whatever it is I need to do. Another example, I have shared my dinner time woes on the podcast before. This has now reached a point of, a good solution that we have sustained for probably a couple of months now, which is really nice. But dinner time was a huge struggle. It'd be like 30 minutes till we got to eat. And it'd be like, well, what do we have time to make? What do we have things for? What we wanted never really entered into the equation because that didn't matter. If I wanted enchilada soup, it was already too late because that needed to be in the crock pot 6 hours ago. So it doesn't really matter what I wanted. It's just like we have to feed the children. And why is this so hard? And dinner time comes every night, at the same time, every single day. Why is this so hard? That was real struggle energy around dinner time. Now, that doesn't mean that dinner time is easy now, because it's not. But now there's no struggle around what are we going to eat. And if I know something needs to be in the crock pot, then it gets in the crock pot when it needs to be in the crock pot because I'm prepared for it. I know it's coming and I am prepared. It's not knowing what to eat and having it made at about the right time has been no struggle. The struggle has been removed from that. Here's a really cool one. This is the example that I discovered in my life that had me searching for this idea of struggle being optional everywhere else. I have 2 daughters, and I birthed them both unmedicated. My second, the experiences, so the outcomes were the same. I had unmedicated births, no complications, everything was great, everything was fine. But the experiences of their labors are completely different. My second daughter came fast and furious in 4 hours in a struggle. I struggled just about that entire labor. I was in so much pain. It was unreal. I could not believe the amount of pain I was in because she was my second daughter. Completely struggled through that situation. All 4 hours, I felt it every single second. My first daughter had a long 21-hour labor that was relatively peaceful, and I slept through most of it. I was very relaxed. I was interrupted by nurses and doctors and whatever, and this is taking so long, but nah. And it was very calm until about the last 10 minutes, but that was fine. and that had extenuating circumstances, so whatever. The difference was, for my first daughter, my husband and I took hypnobirthing classes, and we were very consistent at practicing the hypnosis every night, and I listened to subliminals and affirmations during the day about, just programming my body to prepare for this very peaceful, very easier, whatever, birth. I programmed my body for this. If you think hypnosis and affirmations are full of crap, I'm here to tell you, I did it with my first daughter and not with my second. And man, I'm a believer, because holy crap. I tried to get into that place. I tried to get into hypnosis. I tried to get there with my second daughter, but I had not prepared. There's 5 years between them. I had not prepared the second time. I had not done all of the things that I did for preparing for my first daughter the second time around, and struggled so hard. It was horrible. Luckily, it was only 4 hours, but wow, were those 4 hours. The first experience was much better. So there was the key in there. I prepared and I planned for the experience that I wanted to have for my first daughter. I planned and prepared for that experience. I didn't for my second daughter, and struggle just walked right on in, and that was the energy in which I had her. That you can plan and prepare for the experience that you want in whatever area of life that you typically struggle in whatever situations you typically struggle in, with whatever people you typically struggle with. You can plan and prepare for that to remove the struggle. Essentially, you're taking the locks off of the wheels before you move the table. Now, how you plan and prepare for whatever it is going to be obviously very situational. If I don't want to struggle next time I want to use this table, I just take care of it before I need the table. Then the struggle is removed when I need it. Instead of taking this pile of things and moving it onto top of this pile of things because I need this specific space. If I've just taken care of it, the struggle is removed. Does that make sense? Think about that. Now, no matter what, even if you do your best to plan and prepare for these situations, areas, and people that you typically struggle with, you're going to be walking along the road of life, and the struggle bus is going to pull up and offer you a ride, and you're going to get on, and you're going to be like in the middle of struggle, and you're going to know, I could have avoided this energy. I could have avoided this struggle. Yeah, you probably could have. However, adding any sort of shame or guilt on top of that doesn't actually help. What does help is taking a moment, taking a breather. I'm a big fan of going to the bathroom, setting a 5-minute timer, and just taking yourself out of it, giving yourself a moment to think of, okay, this is how I'm feeling, this is the energy I'm in, this is the experience I'm having. What experience do I want? What would I would rather be experiencing? What would I like to experience? And what do I need to do to change my energy so that the outcome of that experience is far more likely or even guaranteed? Because sometimes you know that if you do this, your experience will be this. You can take yourself out of the moment, take yourself out of the energy, take yourself out of the struggle, and then when you re-enter the situation or you re-enter that area of your life or whatever, you come out of the bathroom, you can choose what energy you are in. You can choose that you are off the struggle bus. We're not doing that. That doesn't make this easy, but it doesn't make it unnecessarily hard. So I'm going to approach it in this way. And you can choose to approach it in that way. This is extremely powerful because when you choose what energy you are approaching these situations, these areas of life, these people, then you are choosing a different experience. You are improving your experience. If you improve enough experiences, you're improving your life. Because what is your life if not a collection of experiences? Whether they are external experiences or experiences within your own body. Because you could be experiencing something terrible on the outside. You could be experiencing really something not great and have a completely different emotional experience, energetic experience inside your body. And what actually counts is what you're experiencing inside your body. Because the same as the opposite is true as well. You could be experiencing something amazing on the outside, where anybody would look at you and be like, man, you've got it going on. You know, you took the private jet to the private island and now you're, being served drinks whenever you want and you've just got a book to read and nobody's asking you to do anything. Look at you. Yet, inside, that person could be having the most awful experience. So both are true. And you get to choose how you feel, which I understand and I know is a difficult thing. And you can choose to approach choosing how you feel from a place of struggle or not. But you can definitely choose the struggle energy. You can remove the struggle. Struggle is optional. So here's what I want you to take home with you today. Whenever you're struggling with something, whether you could have planned for it and didn't, or it totally blindsided you and now you're on the struggle bus, no idea how you got there, you can take a minute and get off the struggle bus. You can choose a different energy in which to do something. You can struggle with that person, or you can interact with that person with love and empathy and, trying to do your best. You can struggle with moving a table, or you can release the locks. You can struggle with dinner time, or you can plan for it. You can struggle with the birth of your kid, or you can do what you need to do to be emotionally and energetically prepared for it. You can struggle, or you can look around for, how can I get myself into a different energy? How can I get myself into a different place as I approach this situation, area, person, whatever it is? That is power. And remember, as you add up these improvements, you're improving your life. Every time I come to you, I am on this journey with you. I struggle with things just as much as you, even though I have this very clear, obvious example in my life that struggle is an optional energy. No matter what I come to you with, I am on this journey too. I am never coming to you from a place of having it all figured out. This table is a mess. It's a complete disaster. Within arm's reach, I've got tons of things that I can pull out and show you that just don't even need to be here. However, I promise you, I am striving for continual improvement, and that's what I want for you. I am looking for I'm looking to improve areas of my life. I don't really have to go look for what areas to improve. They're in my face. And I know that there's more that aren't in my face, but because God is good, I can't see all my problems at one time. I can only see what I can deal with. Same for you. You don't have to tackle everything at once. I mentioned I've got these areas of my house that are nice and tidy and organized, and they have flow, and I love them. I approach my life in the same way. There are these areas that look so nice, and they feel so good. They're just a tiny area. My nightstand is immaculate, and this table is a wreck. I can have both. And at some point, I would love for this table to continually be nice and tidy and a usable space. And I'll get there. This whole journey is about continual movement forward, continual improvement. And as part of the journey, sometimes you make wrong turns. Sometimes you hop on the struggle bus for a few thousand miles. That's okay. You can get off the struggle bus whenever you're ready. I want you to know, I want to leave you today with the knowledge that the struggle is completely optional. If you are struggling, you have consciously or unconsciously opted in to that struggle. You can opt out whenever you'd like. Whenever you're ready, you can do things differently. You have that power, you have that ability. And the more you opt out of struggle, the more your experiences improve. And the more your life will improve as a byproduct. It'll just happen. Isn't that awesome? I think it's awesome. I love this stuff. This stuff's my jam. All right, until next week, thank you so much for tuning in today to listen to me on my personal philosophy on the energy of struggle. I hope that you hop off the struggle bus a little more than maybe you would have if you had not heard this episode. And I wish you a best day. And of course, all the sparkly things. I send you love. Bye.